Welcome back to Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen with offices in Houston, Texas. And today this is going to be part 2 of our changes to U.S. immigration laws since President Biden took over in January of 2021. The next major change to U.S. immigration laws was that President Biden indicated that he was going to extend the temporary protected status program for certain countries. So right now, eligible countries that are eligible for TPS are El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras, Nepal, Nicaragua, and Sudan. So under President Donald Trump, he was going to put it to a stop. However, President Biden has stated that he's going to look at these country conditions on a case-by-case basis to determine if TPS should be extended. So he's not going to just outright start halting the renewals of TPS. So if you have TPS, this should bring some relief to you and your families. The next major change involves Venezuelans. So if you are a Venezuelan and you entered the United States before January, then you would have been eligible to apply for a program called Deferred Enforce Departure, or DEDS for short. Under this program, it would allow you to apply for work authorization in the United States, and you'll be able to work until July of 2022. The next major change involves only Venezuelan nationals. So if you are from Venezuela and you happen to be in the United States, you will know that back in January there is a program called Deferred Enforce Departure, which would have allowed you to remain in the United States, apply for work authorization that will last up until July 2022. However, with the DEDS program, you cannot receive any immigration status in the United States. So a couple of days ago, President Biden released a statement that individuals from Venezuela can now apply for temporary protected status. So if you were physically in the United States on March 8, 2021, you may be eligible to apply for TPS. Now there are some qualifying, TPS is harder to get than DEDS. For example, you need to have entered the United States using your Venezuelan passport. Also, under the TPS program, you cannot have 2 misdemeanors or a felony to receive TPS, so many people do not qualify for TPS. However, if you qualify for TPS, we encourage you to apply because TPS will give you immigration status and DEDS does not. DEDS just gives you the right to work in the US while you're waiting to return to your home country. Meanwhile, TPS actually gives you an immigration status. So in the future, if you would like to change your immigration status, let's say to an employer or for a family-based adjustment, you can do so under TPS and you can't do it under DEDS. So the registration period for TPS for Venezuelans, again, the registration period means that you have to sign up before this time period or else you won't be able to apply for it. The registration period starts on March 9 and goes all the way up until September 5th, 2021. So if you don't apply and register during this time, you'll be ineligible for TPS. Now you still may be eligible for DEDS, but not TPS. So can you apply for TPS and DEDS at the same time? Well, it's not really, the situation is kind of weird because under the DEDS program, you don't have to do anything to qualify. However, TPS requires that you actually register. So make sure that if you already have DEDS, you apply for your work authorization and you're considering applying for TPS, seek out an immigration attorney to make sure that you do qualify and then submit an application because there is a deadline. You will notice from our immigration history that many people from different parts of the world that apply for TPS end up getting extensions for TPS. So with DEDS, we're not sure whether or not the government is going to extend it or get rid of it. So if you qualify for TPS, make sure that you apply and make sure that you use an immigration attorney so you don't mess up in doing so. Because if you apply and your application is denied for whatever reason, after September 5th, there's nothing you can do. You're going to be stuck relying on DEDS. And again, the DED program as well as that TPS program will both expire on July 20, 2022. However, that TPS has a greater chance of being extended. The third change is, again, related to the Deferred Enforce Departure program. So with Liberians under Donald Trump, he was going to end it. However, Biden has extended that program for a little bit longer for Liberians. So if you're a foreign national from Liberia and you're under the DES program and you're applying for work authorization and getting the renewals, this program will benefit you because it's going to extend the time that you have before you return to your country. The next major change involves the removal of the requirement for the I-944, the Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. So this form, if you don't remember, was brought up in March 24th of 2020. So in the past, the government just required, if you're applying for a green card, that you had a petitioner or a sponsor sign a document called an affidavit of support, which will say that before you go on government benefits, they will financially support you. However, with the introduction of the public charge form, Donald Trump stated that, or Donald Trump's administration stated that they were going to make you fill out this form, make you prove that you're not going to become dependent on government benefits. And a lot of times what this meant was it required a lot more documents that was not readily available. So instead of tax returns, they would require tax transcripts. They will look at a foreign national's age, so that's kind of age discrimination. They will say things like, if you're between 18 and 65, that's a positive factor, but if you're over 65 or under 18, that's a negative factor. They will look at your education to see if you at least have a high school diploma. They will look to see if you can speak English and how well you can speak English or a second language. They will look at your prior employment history. So what this did was that it really stopped a lot of people from becoming eligible to apply for a green card because the government will poke at their application and find a reason to deny it. So what President Biden has stated is that, well, President Biden put this into motion, and now the courts have ruled that the government is no longer going to force people that are applying for initial green card applications to submit the form I-944. And this is going to be very beneficial for individuals that either they're about to file and they're unable to procure some of the documents required for that form, such as their tax transcripts, since the IRS is not holding in-person appointments, or they have received a request for evidence or a notice of intent to deny because they failed to submit the I-944 public charge form. So this is a big benefit to those individuals. Again, the public charge form wasn't applicable to some individuals. So if you were applying for a green card based on VAWA, based on asylum, based on, the U visa, these public charge rules wouldn't have applied to you anyway. However, it did apply for anyone seeking an initial green card application for the most part. So this wraps up part 2 of our changes to U.S. immigration laws since President Biden took office in January 2021. Please stay tuned for part 3, which ends our series on all of the changes that have happened since January. And you will notice that there are a lot of immigration changes. So President Biden was not kidding when he mentioned that he was going to try to change immigration laws and make them more humane for foreign nationals. Again, thank you for watching Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen, and we hope that we have made immigration easier to understand.
At David Nguyen's Law Office, we are here to help you. We bring families together through immigration. And on the other hand, we help you find solutions. All your legal needs in the hands of people who care, who are there for you. We'll take care of your loved ones at the Law Office of David Nguyen.